Hi, I'm Pam, and I'm here to talk about books. About video games. So today we're taking a look at the newest offering from Bitmap Books. It is a guide to Japanese role-playing games. It is a big, heavy tome full of knowledge and all kinds of game information. This first came out a couple months back, and I was very excited about it, and it sold out almost immediately before I could get my hands on a copy. However, a second print run was just done. It is currently available now, and the nice people at Bitmap were nice enough to send me a copy for review. So I'm just going to talk a little bit about it. So this book has really exceeded my expectations. It is a whopping 652 pages. It covers over 600 different games in the genre. It was made in collaboration with Kurt Kalata from Hardcore Gaming 101, the website, a fantastic website, especially for the more obscure and retro video games out there. If you're wanting to learn about games of any genre, it's fantastic. It was made with him, with a bunch of other collaborators, journalists, reviewers, fans, to make write-ups of all these various games ranging from 1982 to 2020. The quality of the book physically, as with all of the other Bitmap books that I have owned, is fantastic. It's a nice hardcover. It has thread binding to keep everything together. Very beautiful, heavyweight, semi-glossy pages, and a nice little ribbon to keep your spot if you are going through the book. Bitmap is based out of the UK, and the price is £35, which works out to, right now, a little less than 50 US or a little less than $60 Canadian. Plus, you'll have to pay shipping if you are not in the UK yourself. Along with the book, you will also get a free PDF of the entire thing, so you can browse it and search it on your computer, as well as having this lovely physical edition. When you get into the book, it starts off with the obvious question, what is a JRPG? And it attempts to answer that, as well as going over a few pages on various topics like the music of JRPGs, the influence of anime on the genre, localization, as well as certain tropes like attacking and dethroning God. So once we get into the meat of the book, it's organized in a very interesting way, a little different than similar books. Rather than go chronologically or alphabetically of every book, it's organized into sections. And the first of those is Japanese PC RPGs, which is really where things started out. It gives a very good rundown of how the JRPG genre sort of diverged from the Western games that originally influenced it, sort of where the genre came from and what would influence games further on. I found this section particularly interesting because a lot of these games never left Japan, so I hadn't really heard of too many of them at all. Once we get past that, it dedicates big sections of the book to sort of the biggest series in Japanese role-playing games, and these include the Falcom games, probably best known for the Ys series, although there's other games as well. This includes Final Fantasy, Shin Megami Tensei, and Persona, and of course Dragon Quest, which, though it's not as popular here in the West, is probably the most important JRPG series in Japan. Once the sections on the big series are done, which also includes the Tales of series, it sort of gives you everything else, everything that sort of fits nicely into the genre, and then follows it up at the end with more of the subgenres, the tactical JRPGs, the strategy games, the ones that are more roguelike or monster collecting, things like that. So it's really separated into very interesting but very meaningful sections. And while I can definitely understand why it's organized the way it is, and I think it makes sense, if you're looking for a particular game, there's also an index at the back which takes up a number of pages where you can look up specifically what game you're looking for. The write-ups for each game are a nice combination between a summary and a little bit of a review, Each game gets between half a page and 2 pages dedicated to it, which includes both text as well as screenshots from the game and the game's cover art to give you a good feel of what the game looks like. The write-ups include an overview of the summary of the story, the characters you'll be playing with, what the combat system is like, any key mechanics, or anything that make the game particularly stand out among all the others. Plus, of course, there is some opinion on how successful that game was at what it was trying to do. One thing I really like about the write-ups that I've read, obviously I have not read every single one yet, but they don't seem to be overly precious or nostalgic about the games. They give a good summary, but, they're not above being a little critical while at the same time sort of celebrating and providing a history about the game. And when it's relevant, these write-ups also include possible ports or re-releases of the game, as well as the current standing of the series if they're part of one. I looked up a bunch of the entries for some of my favorite JRPGs, which tend to be in the PS1 and PS2 era. They've got the whole Star Ocean series, they've got the Shadowheart series, which I love, Parasite Eve, Lost Odyssey. The only game I looked for that I couldn't find was Rhapsody, a Musical Adventure, though I guess you can't include every game ever made. The overall impression I got as I was reading through this book is that it's just super well made. It is very focused on text. It's a very long one, but I also love the little touches, like on each section, there's sort of an overworld map type original drawing, which I really loved. Also, the art on the cover is just very adorable, and the whole thing is just a very nice package. This is really just another winner from Bitmap Books. I have 3 of their books, and I've been very happy with all of them. I previously reviewed The Art of Point-and-Click Adventure Games, which I also got as a review copy, and this one focuses more on art, but also includes interviews with developers and artists, and it's an absolutely beautiful book that I have read cover to cover. And then the other one, which is sort of similar to the JRPG one in layout and style, is the CRPG book. And this one I bought myself, and it's just another beautiful one, the same sort of quality, and this just is a chronological look at all of the computer role-playing games through time. And I haven't yet finished reading this one, but this is the same sort of great resource and history of a genre I really love. And lastly, I just wanted to say that if you are going to be ordering this and having it shipped to you, it's a pricey book, it's a nice showpiece, you want to make sure it's in good condition, and everything I've received from Bitmap Books, including this, has been absolutely wonderfully packed. Even though, based on the outside packaging when I got this one, it wasn't treated the most gently by FedEx. When I unwrapped it all, it was just so safely packaged with these awesome corner protectors to really protect against smushed edges. And by the time I unwrapped it, it looked pristine, despite any mishaps or roughness during shipping and handling. So I definitely recommend A Guide to Japanese Role-Playing Games if you are a fan of the genre or have someone you want to buy a present for who is a fan of the genre. It's currently available at bitmapbooks.co.uk. The second printing has been done, and the books are going to be shipping out starting on November 8th, so very, very soon. Definitely check it out if you're at all interested. There's more description and pictures of the book on the website. If you want to see more, check out my review of The Art of Point-and-Click Adventure Games, or another of my videos. I have a Patreon if you want to support the channel. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you next time.